Datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome into our Stifel Sports Studio for a Sunday morning. That would be Cardinals Nation Restaurant here inside Ballpark Village. And I'm Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman this morning. Tom, of course, is handling the play-by-play duties on Bally Sports Midwest for this weekend's series between the Cards and the Chicago White Sox. So I am happy to be able to pinch hit for Tom this morning. And, boy, we've got a ton to do here on Sports on a Sunday morning. Such a great program, and we're lucky to have all the folks that join on a regular basis and really dig into the St. Louis sports scene. Of course, as always, we'll chat with the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol. That'll come up in our second segment here this morning. Later on, we'll also talk to the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, of course, in our last hour. We're also going to talk to Lutz Van and Steel. He's got his regular spot at 11:15 to talk about St. Louis City. They had another draw last night, 8th of the year for City, and we'll ask him about that. We'll talk about the fact that I think that I would assume there might be just a little bit of concern, right, that, yes, they're getting points or getting a point during these matches, but they're not able yet to kind of find the way to get around that, the way to get over that, and get a couple more points in these matches. So we'll talk to Lutz about that. We're going to visit with Scott Jagow from, of course, the Total Information AM Weekends program, who he is also an avid sports fan, an avid horse racing fan, and covered it for a long time. So we're going to chat with him about the Kentucky Derby, which was absolutely thrilling yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to check in on the Derby, it was one of the closest races, if not the closest, for three horses. We had a photo finish between three horses yesterday. Mystic Dan ends up winning it in a photo finish. And, I mean, literally, if the horse had bobbed his head, if he had ducked down and or Sierra Leone, who was second, if he had pushed his nose up, he might have won that race. So very interesting, very cool, fun finish to the Kentucky Derby yesterday. And, of course, we have to talk about CB Bucknor, who was behind the plate last night. Well, it turned into last night, yesterday afternoon at Busch Stadium. And I think probably most fans are familiar with CB Bucknor. And unfortunately, it is not for good reason. It is because CB Bucknor tends to be one of the umpires that misses a good number of calls. He is often lumped in the same category as Angel Hernandez, and that's never a good thing if you're a major league umpire, to be lumped in with those with that guy, Angel Hernandez, CB Bucknor. The other thing specifically here in St. Louis about CB Bucknor is he does have a history with the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol. Back in the first year that Ollie was in charge, which was 2022, they got into it about a call at the plate. Of course, Oliver Marmol goes out to speak his mind, to say his piece, and essentially CB Bucknor told him he had not been in the game long enough and didn't deserve to have the opportunity to argue his case. Now, you're already upset if you're Oliver Marmol, right? You're already mad about the calls that are being missed, and then you have somebody challenge your expertise or the fact that, in his words, you don't belong, or you're not able to argue that call because you don't have enough credibility. You've not been in the game long enough. That's only going to set a person off. And CB Bucknor knows this. Anybody who is in an argument, there are certain triggers you're going to use, right, to rile up that other person. And CB Bucknor did it. Well, then in 2023 in spring training, Oliver Marmol made the attempt to kind of mend the fences, to chat with CB Bucknor during or before a spring training game, and he turned his back on him. He basically blew him off. And so there is a history there. Now, I would not say that is what influenced a call from CB Bucknor, but the fact is that with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th inning in a one-run game, when the team has the bases loaded, he blew a call. And it was clear, and you could see that he blew the call, that the pitch to Ivan Herrera was out of the strike zone. It's frustrating. And again, yesterday in the postgame show, Oliver Marmol was quick to point out there were plenty of other areas that the Cardinals didn't cash in. So I'm not saying that was the reason the Cardinals lost. They were 3 of 13 with runners in scoring position yesterday. They left 10 runners on base. We know that this offense is struggling. But you can't miss a call in that situation if you're CB Bucknor. And he did. He flat out missed the call in a critical situation in that ball game. And so a game that you have played 3+ hours and you have sat through 3+ hours of a rain delay, because that's what it was, in the 10th inning. There were 2 outs. Nolan Gorman started that at bat. He had fouled a pitch down the right field line, so he was hitting with an 0-1 count. You're in the 10th inning. They just flat out could not continue. John Brebbia was throwing baseball after baseball out. He was kind of hiding it in his glove, just trying to find a dry ball, trying to find somewhere to get the grip. They had to put a halt to that game. I get it. It was pouring. But then you sit through a 3-hour rain delay only to have your hitter rung up on a pitch that was not a strike. I have never really been in favor of the automated umps or the automated strike zone, but maybe now, maybe we need to be. It's the whole, when we know better, we do better, right? So we do have the technology, and the technology has been increasing over the years in Major League Baseball, obviously starting with replay. You've got so many plays on the bases that obviously go a different way. In St. Louis, we know that 1985 would have been all different if we had replay and we were able to look at the call at first base that Don Deckinger made in the 1985 World Series. We didn't have it then. We have it now. We review plays, we change it, we get it right, and CB Bucknor got it wrong yesterday afternoon. So whatever the Cardinals did leading up to that point, they had no chance when you're getting rung up on a pitch that's outside the strike zone, and that is what happened yesterday in the 10th inning in that game. So the Cardinals dropped that game yesterday 6-5 to the White Sox. That means now you've got to win a Sunday game in order to win this series here against a team that coming in had just a single win on the road this year. They're 2-14 now on the road after yesterday's extra inning win. Lance Lynn yesterday goes 5 innings. I know that he was not happy with his start, and I think particularly that 6th inning after the Cardinals had scored 5 with the home run from Nolan Arenado, the 2-run double from Brendan Donovan, and then he walks the first 2 hitters in the 6th inning, and that is both those runners score. That ties the game, and again allows it to get to extra innings. The White Sox end up scoring the run in the 10th, and the Cardinals end up leaving the bases loaded in the 10th. So that's that. That's how Saturday was. I hope your Saturday was better than CB Bucknor's was, because he had a bad Saturday at Busch Stadium yesterday afternoon. So I will address that. I'll ask Oliver Marmol about that. I'm not going to ask him, obviously, to really go in on it and go in on the fact that it was CB Bucknor behind the plate, but I will talk about the chance of getting better at that. We'll do that on the other side of the break. It's Sports on a Sunday morning here from Cardinals Nation Restaurant. Oliver Marmol is next on KMOX.
Baseball is in full swing. NBA playoffs are heating up, and your NFL team is gearing up for training camp. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app. The biggest sports radio stations in the country, providing unrivaled local coverage of their teams, all in one place. Exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and team executives, streaming live and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUDACY. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
When our truck stops in front of your home, you'll know it's there.
Because you'll feel magic in the air.
Things are about to get a whole lot better.
In fact, they're about to be wonderful.
We brought you a whole truckload of magic
and fresh air freedom.
All you have to do is point.
You'll see the magic with your eyes.
When that junk disappears.
And you'll feel the fresh air freedom
throughout your body.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
When that dull junk is gone, All your cool stuff will sparkle,
You'll feel the magic of it on your face.
and it will make you smile,
You'll see big clean rooms.
and it will make you dance
You'll call your friends.
because you'll want them to see it and feel it too.
You're going to want to share that fresh air freedom with everyone.
Because you are a delightful person.
When you're ready to unleash the delight,
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
Now the Manager's Chat, presented by Siteman Cancer Center. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
We're back inside Cardinals Nation Restaurant. Sports on a Sunday morning continues here from Ballpark Village. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. We're glad you're along with us, and we're always glad to have the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol, along with us. Of course, it's brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Good morning, Ollie.
Morning. How we doing?
I am doing all right. Spent the first segment, I know, probably doing what you would like to be doing and having a conversation or talking about the call that ended yesterday's game. I'm not going to ask you to get too much into it other than I know it's disappointing to have a 3-hour game, a 3-hour rain delay, and a call that, quite frankly, was not a strike.
Yep. So that fine goes up pretty high if I talk about
Correct.
it. So I'll let you do the talking. But
And I did that. I did that. I did that in our first segment. And I've always kind of been one that likes the idea of the human element of the game. But I also said that, there's that phrase, when we know better, we do better, right? And that's kind of where we've come in baseball. And unfortunately, it hasn't extended yet, and it might, to the strike zone. So that said, that's over with. You also said after the game yesterday, there was plenty that your club could have done, obviously, before it gets to that point.
That's exactly right. And that's where the game's at. We never should have got to that position. And unfortunately, we did. But there were some opportunities there for us to break that game open and just take the lead. And then later in the game to just end it. And we didn't. And it continues to be a topic of conversation. But, man, I know people probably don't want to hear it, but I believe in these guys. They're not in the best spot right now as far as where they want to be offensively, but these guys will hit. Newpar's going to come around and do a nice job. Gorman's going to do a nice job. Goldie. I mean, you go down the list, and these guys will hit. And when they do, it'll be a lot more fun to watch. I'll tell you that.
You get a little bit of a lift today. We just got news here. You're going to get one of your outfielders back, Dylan Carlson, being activated. Good to see him. I talked yesterday. Good to see him, playing several games consecutively with Memphis. That's obviously what you're looking for as he gets set to come up now.
Yeah, he's feeling good. After that injury in spring training, he was able to check a lot of boxes. He throwing defense, everything feels good. His left-handed swing feels good. He was able to mimic some at-bats against left-handed pitching from the right side yesterday and felt really good about it. So facing the lefty today will activate him, and he'll be in center field. If you look at without him, our roster was fairly limited in the sense of creating that lefty lane where there's not a whole lot we can do outside of hitting in the 9 spot and losing the DH with Fermin. So he adds a little bit of versatility from a lineup construction standpoint. We look forward to having him back.
It makes such a difference to have that opportunity. And as you said, instead of having to make that switch, instead of then losing your DH late in the game, it really does give you some versatility, but also some flexibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And it's the way we kind of had it built, knowing that Eddie was going to be out when we broke spring. So it was unfortunate that he went down towards the back end there, Carlson. But now we have him back, and a healthy Carlson could be extremely helpful.
Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol with us here. Sports on a Sunday morning. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman this morning. I want to chat a little bit about a moment on Friday night that we've seen so many times with so many players here in this ballpark in this city, and that's when Paul DeJong came to the plate and he got such a nice ovation from Cardinals fans. He made the comment, he didn't expect that would be something that he got one day, but the fact is these fans remember. If you play in a Cardinals uniform, they remember.
And that's what's cool about this city. I mean, that's not everywhere. And they remember if you contributed and helped us win ball games, and they honor that. And as a player, that's meaningful when you come back to where everything started for you, the team that drafted you, where you made your debut, and people recognize that, and they're astute enough and just smart enough to know, like, hey, man, this guy helped us, and honoring that was really cool. And I know it meant a lot to the young and a lot of the players that come back and play here. That's one of the special things about being a member of the St. Louis Cardinals is you are remembered.
And we talk so many times about, or we talk so much rather about, performance on the field, whether you are or you are not performing. But at the end of the day, these are human beings out there, and that's kind of what Paul DeJong said, is that it's just the feelings. He came back in here, he saw the red seats, and immediately had those good feelings of when he came up in the bigs for the first time.
No, and that's exactly right. I mean, towards the back end, he wasn't performing to the degree that he would have wanted or the fan base was expecting. But for him to come back and them still appreciate that the hard work that he put into contributing at this level was special for him.
Let's talk about today's game. You'll have Matthew Liberatore on the mound today. Yeah. And certainly somebody who, A, has experience in starting games, but B, has been so very good for you this year. It makes a lot of sense to get this start here in this spot today.
Yeah, and I'll speak to a couple of things really quickly, because I know I'll get the question later on from our media regarding why not let Thompson take that start, or why not let Palante, or the reality is this: when we sat down and looked at it for at least this time through, we wanted to allow Thompson to get one more start down there to continue to work on the things he's working on and not disrupt that development because of our need up here at the moment. Having him take that start a couple of days ago and feel good about it was important to him and for just overall development. So we'll take the start with Libby. He's limited on his pitches, and it'll be a bullpen day after that, and we'll mix and match as best we could. But that's the reason behind that one.
Realistically, what are you expecting and or hoping as far as length of the day for Matthew Liberatore?
Yeah, so you're looking at last time he threw, 3 innings, around 38 pitches. So he's able to take you to about 50 today, if I had to guess. And
so really it's just going to depend on how efficient he can be.
Yeah, and then we'll just kind of go bullpen after that, and everybody will get a touch. We got some guys down in the back end, being that they've thrown back-to-back days, but we'll figure it out, and hopefully we thump a little bit.
Boy, you mentioned yesterday when you were talking to Claibs on the pregame interview, and you talked a lot about the bullpen. You said 2 things: efficient and effective. I mean, it has been fun to watch, and obviously, as you just said, hopefully you thump a little bit when you get that offense. But when you have the opportunity to turn the game over to the bullpen, it's a lot of fun.
It is, and their individual plans have been impressive in the preparation and some of the things that we've made adjustments to. Dusty's done a nice job with the pitchers and Hooley and Keycat for that whole group. And these guys have a real plan that they're going out there, and credit to them. They're going out and executing it, and they're really efficient in how they're attacking guys, and it's been really effective. But you're looking at JoJo going out there and throwing 15 pitches, Helsley going out there and throwing 11. The day before, he only threw 8. So it's allowed them to be available more often in how they're attacking guys. And that's been extremely helpful in just keeping us in games and giving us a shot.
I know at the beginning of the year, you had talked about a little bit of a different approach with Ryan Helsley as far as when you were going to use him. Has that been a big part of what we're seeing this year, sort of a renewed Ryan Helsley?
No doubt about it. His availability has been incredible. He's been one of the most available pitchers in the league this year as far as just taking the baseball, and that's going to help us. I mean, at the end of the day, if our offense starts to click, you look at how we're playing these games and we're playing clean defense, pitchers are doing their jobs, and our pen has been available and ready to go every day. So everything starts to click offensively. We can go on a pretty fun run.
Manager Oliver Marmol with us. Final thing for you. You want to go through the lineup for this Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, you're going to have Donovan in left. Contreras is going to be in the 2-hole, DH and Goldie at first, Nato at third. Carlson will hit behind Nato, play center field. Herrera's going to be behind the plate. Mason Wind. You're going to have Fermin at second and Newbarn right in the 9-hole.
Ollie, great luck this afternoon. Appreciate you, as always, taking the time on Sunday to chat with us here about some Redbirds baseball.
You got it, man.
That is Oliver Marmol, the Cardinals manager, with us here. As always, it's courtesy of Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. I'm Joe Pott, in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. Sports on a Sunday morning continues from Cardinals Nation Restaurant here inside Ballpark Village after this on Camo X.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis or an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. Their RNs will listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit
JerryKelly.com? Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come see our waterfront in Wild Horse Village in the new downtown Chesterfield. You have to see it to believe it, and then you will understand why it is the fastest selling luxury community in all of St. Louis. Our unique modern designs are like nothing St. Louis has seen. Only a handful of home sites remain. Experience the ultimate lifestyle at the waterfront. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today. Hurry before you miss this opportunity.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win. Billikens win.
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's Joe Pott with you here in for Tom Ackerman this morning on Sports on a Sunday morning. We're in the Stifel Sports Studio. It's powered by Gray Bar, and our Stifel Sports Studio happens to be behind the desk here at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. We're inside Ballpark Village as we take you through this Sunday morning here. Glad you're with us. Glad you're hanging out, getting ready for the day, perhaps getting ready to come downtown for the series finale between the Cards and the White Sox today. Cardinals Nation Restaurant just starting to get some folks in here and through here this afternoon. And, of course, there's the Cardinals Authentic Shop here that the fans like to take in as well. Always appreciate hearing from the Cards manager, Oliver Marmol. I know that, folks can think what they want as far as us being the flagship station for the Cards, but the access to the Cards manager has been fantastic. And it's been that way going back, several managers. It's not just that it's been Oliver Marmol, but Ollie has been really fantastic. And I think throughout his tenure, one of the things that you can say about the Cardinals skipper is that he is willing to chat about the moves he makes, the decisions he makes, and some of the things that go into it. He told us a lot about the decision for Matthew Liberatore as opposed to using a Zach Thompson or an Andre Palante in the start here this afternoon. And we know that Matthew Liberatore is going to be about 50 pitches or so this afternoon, and we'll see what that means. It's really just going to be dependent on how efficient the Cardinals left-hander is, how far he goes here today. He's been really good in relief this year, 12 appearances, an ERA under 3. He's 1-1 in those 3. He's walked 8 hitters and struck out 10, so the walk's a little higher than you would like, but nothing terrible. An opponent's hitting just $192 against the Cards left-hander today. And again, you're facing a White Sox lineup that has not been very good offensively, and I understand neither has the Cardinals, and we talked a lot about that also. And, of course, the Cards manager continues to preach patience. That's what he has been saying for a while. Now we'll see what the influx of Dylan Carlson can do to this lineup. And one of the things we know, and one of the things that he talked about, is the versatility and the flexibility, because what you've been seeing from the Cardinals, especially in late game situations, and he did it yesterday in the 9th inning, they pinch hit with Fermin in the spot that Michael Ciani was in, and that means you lose an outfielder, which means you are often bringing your DH in, as they did yesterday in Alec Burleson. He had to come in and play the outfield, which means you lose your DH. So when you get back around to your 9 spot, that's your pitcher now, and we're back to National League Baseball. All fine and well, except in this day and age when everybody's using a designated hitter, you've sort of put yourself behind the 8 ball, and of course you can make moves every time that 9 spot comes up. But who knows? Had we continued to get through that game, let's say yesterday Ivan Herrera singles in that 10th inning, drives in a run, and then you're talking about maybe playing an 11th inning or maybe going on farther than that. Well, then you're going to hit that 9 spot again, and you're talking about just making move after move, not only with your 9 spot, but with your pitcher as well. You start running out of guys that are available. So you have more flexibility with a switch hitter in your lineup, obviously, in Dylan Carlson. And I think, the other thing you have is just another option. And maybe that's more important than the flexibility and the versatility, is just having somebody else out there, somebody else that you can go to, and quite honestly, somebody else that's going to compete for playing time. And if Carlson comes up here and really starts hitting, all of a sudden you have got an outfielder that is relegated to the bench, right? Relegated to a pinch hitting role because someone's swinging the bat well. So now you're breeding that competition. And so a lot of good things can come from Dylan Carlson coming back to this lineup. And I look forward to it. I look forward to this team getting back more of its offensive, more of a full complement of offensive players than we've seen here since the beginning of the year. And it starts today, and we'll see how that goes. The Cards today will face a left-hander in Crochet, who has not been great this year. He's got an ERA up near 6. Garrett Crochet, who is was a first-round pick by the White Sox back in 2020, and he makes today his 8th start of the year, but he's got an ERA, again, of up near 6. The thing that he does is he strikes out hitters. He's got 47 strikeouts in 34 innings, so he's a strikeout guy, but has given up a lot of runs over his time so far this year. Cardinals trying to win the series. They would have had the chance to get back to 500 had they finished up yesterday's game. They did not, so instead they'll have to try to get back to 500 here today. We've got plenty more to come. I'm excited about the next segment because we're going to talk to Scott Jagow, who I have sometimes chatted with him just in small segments. I've never had him as an actual guest. And the one thing that is, I think, fascinating about Scott Jagow, he's a big horse racing guy, and he's done really well the last couple of years when it comes to the Kentucky Derby specifically. As far as wagering and being really good at how he does that. So we'll talk to him about what that secret is. Maybe he'll give us some tips, because I told him this morning when we chatted on Total Information AM that maybe I should be coming to him for some advice in the upcoming Triple Crown races, or maybe just even wait till next Kentucky Derby, because that seems to be his magic spot, is the Kentucky Derby. So that's coming up in our next segment here in this hour. Of course, we've got the whole 11 o'clock hour to come, in which we'll talk more Cardinals baseball with John Mozeliak, and we'll also talk some St. Louis City. I'm interested in St. Louis City, and I'm interested to hear what Lutz Pfannenstiel has to say about City, because as you probably know, if you followed along very closely or even a little bit to City this year, they're certainly not what they were last year in terms of really getting out of the gate and piling up the wins, because that has not happened. What has happened is they've been piling up the draws this year. More than anything, that's kind of been the hallmark of City. That was their 8th draw, I believe, last night. And so they're getting points, but they're only getting a point each time, as opposed to picking up wins. They've only got 2 wins this year, and so that puts them in 9th in the Western Conference. They actually are right behind Houston, whom they played last night. And that means right now, the way it's set up, they would be in the wild card game. They would be in that game that precedes the playoffs. The way the playoff structure is, you play that wild card game to get into then the first round. And that's tough. You don't want to put yourself in a situation of a one-game decision there at the end of the season when the rest of the playoffs have gone back to the series. But that's the situation they would be in. And there's tons of soccer left to play, obviously. There's a ton of the season left. But for right now, that's the way that they are trending. We'll take a break here from Cardinals Nation Restaurant. When we come back, we'll switch gears. We'll talk about the Kentucky Derby. We'll chat with Scott Jagow coming up on the other side of the break. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio here at Ballpark Village. We are powered by Gray Bar. I'm Joe Pott, in for Tom Ackerman, and this is KMOX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels has to be New York. Skiing, Colorado, every time. And for psychics, think California Psychics. When you want the best, some places are better than others. That's why at CaliforniaPsychics.com, home of free spirits, big dreams, and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. We connect you with the very best, so we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So whatever direction you want to take your life, you know where to start. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down on the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Broadcasting from the underlined Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It is Mystic Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16. Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These three coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's a photo of the Derby. Oh, it's a photo. Was it Mystic Dan or was it Sierra Leone? Forever Young was between them, catching freedom. Finish fourth. A photo finish to decide the 150th Kentucky Derby.
Is the call from Larry Colmus, the Derby on the Kentucky Derby on NBC Sports yesterday afternoon. Just an absolutely ridiculously thrilling finish there at the Derby. And to chat about the Kentucky Derby is our friend Scott Jagow from KMOX News. Of course, you know him as the host of Total Information AM on the weekend. Scott, what's happening, man?
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me on.
No, I totally appreciate it. And it's a cool opportunity, I think, to chat about this because you and I get to cross paths a lot, but not really, not always the chance to have a sort of an in-depth conversation. First of all, what a thrilling finish to yesterday's race.
Yeah, that's historic. It's 150 years they've been running the Derby consecutively, never missed a year. And there's never been a finish that close between the top three contenders. It was almost a triple dead heat, which is a rarity. It has happened in horse racing. There's a famous photo of one from 1944. It was as close as you could get to a triple dead heat.
I mean, yeah, it was just awesome. And I mentioned to you this morning, I only got a chance to see it, because we were in that long rain delay yesterday. And so they put it on the screen and it was up in the monitor in the studio yesterday. So your background a little bit, you have spent some time professionally covering horse racing.
Yeah, about a decade I covered the sport internationally. So it gave me the opportunity. I went to the Derby every year, the Preakness, the Belmont, the Breeders' Cup. And then I also got a chance to fly around the world and cover races in Australia and Hong Kong and England and Ireland. It was a good gig. It was fun.
It sounds like a good gig. I would take that gig for sure. I admittedly, I enjoy horse racing. I don't know the ins and outs of horse racing, as I'm sure someone like yourself does who has done this. But we were talking this morning, and I mentioned it early on the program. Last year, you were successful. You hit the trifecta at the Derby. This year, you did the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is much more than just luck of the draw, right? This is not just, I was lucky and pulled the right horses. There's an art. There's a science to this.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on this, probably more than I should. I watch hours of video replays of the horses. I get source information from various places like Thoroughgraph, and there's another guy I know who I would consider a horse whisperer who looks at how the herd dynamics are. It is definitely not luck of the draw. The reason I hit this, my top two horses did not finish in even the superfecta, but the four others that I picked, I had 6 horses. The 4 others were the superfecta. And I didn't box it as a super. I just boxed it as a try. So I hit the trifecta. But point is, I mean, it's not a luck of the draw. There is luck that happens in a horse race. But what I will say about this particular result is, Mystic Dan got the perfect trip in this race, meaning he was on the rail. So he was running the shortest distance. No one cut in front of him. He didn't
stayed
get boxed
on the rail, right?
in. Yes, he just stayed on the rail. Kind of like Mind That Bird did when Calvin Burrell won at 50-1 in 2009, just skimming the rail. So what I'm saying is he had the perfect trip on this day. Sierra Leone and Forever Young did not, and they still almost beat him. So going forward, I don't even know if Mystic Dan will be the favorite in the Preakness, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's something that I think people don't realize either. That he won, so he has to be the favorite going forward. But as you point out, a horse that runs the perfect trip and yes does win, but the other two had nearly did not have perfect trips, but again nearly pulled off the win there, especially a late charge from Sierra Leone.
Yeah, he's been doing that in every single race. He comes from way back. He is a freight train, and I love to watch him run. It'll be interesting to see if they skip the Preakness and put him in the Belmont, something like that. I could see that happening. And also, when you look at the Derby's results, there are horses who had really bad trips. It happens every time. So when you're assessing this year's three-year-old crop, I am not going to say that Mystic Dan at the end of this year will be the best 3-year-old. It could be one of those horses. It could be Sierra Leone, but it could be one of those other horses that didn't do well in this race that has a lot of potential to improve, like Just a Touch, who was my pick going in. He's got a lot of improvement possibility, and another one named Resilience. Again, these horses could be better as they get older, as they have more races.
There's a lot of difference as well between the track, the run at Churchill Downs than there is in the Preakness and in the Belmont, isn't there?
Yeah, the Belmont or the Preakness is the shortest of the three races. Mm-hmm. It's not that much shorter. It's 1 mile and 3/16, but that track is tighter. And if you look at, auto racing, it's kind of the difference between a wide loping track and a tight track. So that favors speed. So the horses that are in front generally win the Preakness. It's hard to come from behind in the Preakness. Which is why I think Sierra Leone could skip it. And then the Belmont this year is not being run at Belmont Park. It's being run at Saratoga at 1.25 miles. Oh. So they can't run 1.5 miles at that track because of the renovations that are going on at Belmont Park. But Belmont is its own beast when it is run there. It's 1.5 miles, which is a long way for horses to run. And it's big. They called it Big Sandy because it's a deep, deep track. But this year it's going to be at Saratoga, which is one of my favorite places in the world.
So how does that change it then? Not just the distance, but as you mentioned, it's a deep track at Belmont. So is it as that change?
No, it's not. It's more like a Churchill Downs.
Okay.
It's more like most of the tracks in North America. So it won't be that big of a difference. I mean, people won't be able to notice, they're not running an extra quarter of a mile.
You might.
I will, but
maybe not us.
Yeah.
But you might. Scott, I really appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been fun just to chat about it because there's a lot I didn't know. I didn't know there was, analytics out there essentially for horse race. I mean, I'm not surprised. They're obviously this comes along with all of the technology and everything else that we were talking about in other sports, but it's the same, I guess, for horse racing. When you have that much information available, there's going to be ways to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, the guys at Thorograph in particular have a system that's pretty good in determining which horses might bounce in their next race, meaning regress versus improve.
Okay.
Versus improve, and that's what you're looking for in the Derby. I do want to note Brian Hernandez Jr., the jockey, won his first Derby yesterday for trainer Kenny McPeak, and the two of them won the Kentucky Oaks the day before, which is unheard of. And when you got a trainer who has his horses running hot as McPeak has been, you should pay close attention because they're probably going to win some more races.
Yeah, that's just amazing. I guess it's happened before, right, with the jockey, but it hasn't happened with the trainer and jockey combo, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that is some kind of hot streak.
Go.
No, I
was just going to say they made some nice bank in about 4 minutes of action.
That's amazing. That is unbelievable. As I said, I am definitely a fan and more of a casual fan, and I appreciate you lending some expertise. And congrats again on your win yesterday.
All right. Thank you, Joe, for having me on.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Scott Jagow with us here on Sports on a Sunday Morning. We've got more to come in our second hour here. We'll be back coming up after the news, and we'll get into, of course, St. Louis City. We'll get back into some Cardinals baseball. And at the end of our 11 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to Joaquin Buckley. New Manza, he is a UFC fighter from here in St. Louis who is going to co-headline a fight coming up at Enterprise Center here in just a week. And it is a really cool thing that he is going to get to do that in his hometown. And I think you'll be interested to know, if you don't know already, how he managed to convince the powers to be to get him that fight. So we'll talk about that as well. That's coming up at the end of the hour. So the second hour of Sports on a Sunday Morning continues here from Cardinals Nation Restaurant. I'm Joe Pott, in for Tom Ackerman. Back with more after the news on KMOX.
When our truck stops in front of your home, you'll know it's there.
Because you'll feel magic in the air.
Things are about to get a whole lot better.
In fact, they're about to be wonderful.
We brought you a whole truckload of magic
and fresh air freedom.
All you have to do is point.
You'll see the magic with your eyes.
When that junk disappears,
and you'll feel the fresh air freedom
throughout your body.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
When that dull junk is gone, all your cool stuff will sparkle.
You'll feel the magic of it on your face.
And it will make you smile.
You'll see big clean rooms.
And it will make you dance.
You'll call your friends.
Because you'll want them to see it and feel it too.
You're going to want to share that fresh air freedom with everyone.
Because you are a delightful person.
When you're ready to unleash the delight,
call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you don't need the biggest law firm. You need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis, is the insurance company playing games, trying to deny the medical treatment you need, refusing to pay your lost wages. Let Onder Law fight for the benefits you deserve. Injured on the job? Call Onder Law for free. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This may be your last chance to get the new carefree villa home of your dreams at the Preserve in Afton. Our homes offer a lifestyle of convenience and relaxation without the burdens of lawn, landscaping, and snow removal. The Preserve is conveniently located at Watson and McKenzie Road with sales prices starting in the $480s. We will build to order or select from one of our 7 move-in ready homes at substantial savings and special financing in the 4s. Hurry, these deals won't last. Visit McKelveyhomes.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals. KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Monica Ricks. All clear at USC in Los Angeles.
Overnight in Los Angeles, police moved in on the campus of the University of Southern California, surrounding a protest encampment just after 4 a.m. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators left when they were threatened with arrest, and at daybreak, tents were coming down.
When they actually swept the tents, did not find anyone remaining, and everyone had left.
CBS's Bradley Blackburn reporting police arrested about 25 people at the University of Virginia, and at least 10 people were cuffed at the University of South Florida. University of Florida president and former Senator Ben Sasse talked about the situation at his school on CNN.
We have 17 colleges and schools. We're through about 2/3 of our commencements. They're not being disrupted. What you have is a lot of tears of moms of first-gen kids throwing their arms around their kids as they get to graduate.
Protesters did interrupt graduation at the University of Michigan. In the Middle East, truce talks aren't going very well between Israel and Hamas. CBS's Linda Gradstein.
Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh said Hamas is eager to reach a comprehensive deal that will include Israel's withdrawal from Gaza and the release of Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said Israel will not commit to a complete end to the war and that Israel will invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah.
Major flooding could get worse today in and around Houston, Texas, where rescue crews have already pulled hundreds of people from flooded homes. KHOU TV's Anayeli Ruiz is there.
Officers are not even allowing people to walk through here. There's a current that's moving, and they're trying to prevent anyone from having any kind of injuries through here.
Local leaders are urging people to leave their homes if they haven't already. That flooding is expected to get worse. Escorts have now been set up for kids going to school in San Francisco's Tenderloin district due to a spike in drug crimes. Kate Robinson is with Safe Passage.
We have a lot of things in this neighborhood that are not safe. We have a lot of drug dealing. We have a lot of drug use on the street that impact the lives of the people who live here. And so this is really an intervention.
Thousands of kids live with their families there in that area. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem's defending her decision to kill a dog.
This was a dangerous animal that was killing livestock and attacking people. And I had little children at the time. Our operation had many kids running around and people in interaction with the public. And I made a difficult choice.
Noem today on Face the Nation. She's been getting a lot of backlash for that decision, which she wrote about in her new book, No Going Back. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, words from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey on officers who've lost their lives in the line of duty.
It dawns on me that the appropriate response is to carry on the work of our fallen heroes, to rededicate ourselves to the rule of law, to public safety, and to finding justice for victims in the state of Missouri.
Bailey spoke at Saturday's law enforcement memorial service in Jeff City. The name of Herman Police Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith was added to the law enforcement wall this year. He was killed while responding to a disturbance call at a convenience store last year. There's a new leader of the Illinois National Guard. U.S. Army Major General Rodney Boyd takes over to replace Air Force General Richard Neely. Boyd is the first African-American to command the Illinois National Guard in 300 years. That's its whole history. The former Illinois police trooper whose reckless squad car driving killed 2 people in St. Clair County 17 years ago still hasn't gotten his privileges reinstated.
And for now, 45-year-old Matt Mitchell has withdrawn a request for a hearing with the Secretary of State's office. This comes after several delays in the hearing process as Mitchell failed to complete a legally required medical evaluation. The mother of victims Jessica and Kelly Ewell told Capital News Illinois she's happy the constant continuations are over, but the chance is still there for Mitchell to start the process again. In fact, he can do so after 90 days. Mitchell resigned as a state trooper in 2010 and underwent 3 surgeries for leg injuries suffered in the crash. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in store, a high of 73. Overnight, we could see a shower or storm, low 62. Over the next few days, we will have the chance of storms every day. High of 80 Monday, 85 on Tuesday, 82 on Wednesday. Tuesday in particular could be some severe ones. It is 65 right now in St. Peter's, Florissant, and downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And it's Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. Glad you're along. Our Stifel Sports Studio is right here at Cardinals Nation Restaurant, Ballpark Village, ahead of the Cardinals and White Sox, final game of the 3-game series, third game of a 6-game homestand for the Redbirds. Thought coming in that this was going to be a pretty crucial series for the Cards. Obviously, you're playing a couple of teams that you have the opportunity to certainly take a series, and coming into it, I thought maybe sweep the White Sox. I think obviously that was what most thought, and certainly the chance was there. You dropped the extra inning games yesterday, but you have the opportunity to win that series today. You took 2 of 3 from the Mets a week ago, so you know what you've got coming in the Mets. And now reinforcements, if you haven't heard, Dylan Carlson has been activated. He is in the lineup here this afternoon. He will bat 5th and play in center field for the Cards today. Herrera catches. Contreras is the DH. Fermin makes the start at second base today, so Nolan Gorman is out of the lineup, at least for now. They are starting a left-hander. The White Sox are in Gary Crochet, so at least for the start, no Nolan Gorman to start the game today, but that could change, obviously, as the game goes on. We'll see about that. We're going to switch gears here in this hour, at least momentarily. We will, coming up here in our second segment, we'll talk to Lutz Pfannenstiel about the match yesterday, St. Louis City and Houston, but also just about where this team is at. And, I'm interested to hear his take on the way things are going as far as, just the propensity of draws that this team has piled up this year. When we hear from Bradley Carnell, as we did in the post game last night, and obviously, that is the quintessential coach speak, right? After games, you understand that. I think that he, for the most part, Bradley Carnell, has been pretty open and honest in evaluating his club. He did say, they're glad to be on this run that they're on, this unbeaten streak of 4 matches for St. Louis City, but and to get the have a couple of clean sheets here back to back. Roman Berkey was good again last night, but I wonder if the reality is, hey, we would rather, they would rather have the wins, but I wonder if the reality is we're not doing enough to get over that point and that something needs to change. I don't know how that's sort of talked about behind closed doors, and I don't know that Lutz will tell us certainly all of that, but I do think he'll maybe shed a light on the way that they are looking at this. And you're so early in the season. So are there indications that this will turn around, that this will, I guess, straighten itself out, right the ship a little bit if you are St. Louis City, and start piling up some victories as opposed to piling up the draws? That's kind of what has been going on for St. Louis City. So that's coming up at 11:15. Of course, at 11:30, we'll get back into the Cardinals baseball, and we'll chat it over with the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. I don't know how much he can comment on the umpires, probably not much more than Oliver Marmol can when it comes to the call that ended yesterday's game from CB Bucknor, who was not good, is not good, hasn't been good for a while, and it's not just the game, not just yesterday's game against the White Sox, but that was bad, and the last call of the game was bad, and I talked a lot about that at the start of the show tonight. But the Cards haven't been good enough to overcome that either. Those calls sort of become bigger than they are, or bigger than they maybe would be, should be, if the Cardinals aren't 3 of 13 with runners in scoring position and leave 12 runners on base. And that just kind of points to the fact that this offense is just not there yet. And we know that, and we've talked a lot about that. A lot of people have talked a lot about that. And Oliver Marmol's answer to that was patience. And that's what it's been for a long time is patience. And I understand that there's probably many a Cardinal fan that is running out of said patience. Maybe the addition of Dylan Carlson will help that, but eventually you're going to have some of these guys performing there as well. We'll take a break here from Cardinals Nation Restaurant. We've got the sporting director for St. Louis City SC, Lutz Pfannenstiel, coming up on the other side of the break. It's sports on a Sunday morning from Ballpark Village, our Stiefel Sports Studio. We're powered by Gray Bar. I'm Joe Pott, in for Tom Ackerman this morning on KMOX.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. New and reimagined, the 1904 World's Fair exhibit at the Missouri History Museum features a close-up look at the attractions and grounds and a more complete picture of this important moment in St. Louis history. Info at mohistory.org.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis or an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. Their RNs will listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
For garage door repair, St. Louis calls the real Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They're the ones with the red ribbon. They're the ones who've been here since 1926. Others try to copy the name, but cannot match the level of service. The red ribbon means 94 years of trust and loyalty from St. Louis homeowners. Always look for the red ribbon. It means you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Call 314-781-5200.
If you're thinking about doing a little home improvement, especially one that you don't have to do the installation, think about getting a Beam central vacuum system. It's the kind of home upgrade that really checks all the boxes, because when you compare and evaluate, a Beam system makes so much sense. There's a reason why nearly every high-end home in St. Louis is built with a Beam. A Beam vacuum system is very smart because it adds value to your home. Beam whole house vacuum system starts at just $11.99, including installation, and it's an investment, not just in your home, but in a healthy lifestyle. Every time you vacuum, you'll save time because a Beam is more efficient and 5 times stronger, so you'll clean better in less time. And since you're getting all the deep down dirt and grit, vacuuming with a Beam will keep your rugs and carpets looking brand new for many years to come. So you get value from your Beam system every day. Call Beam of St. Louis today. 314-567-1515 or online at beamstl.com.
Beam's home sale is starting early. Every system for every size home now on sale.
There's a new addition to the Audiology Center. Charlie Brennan here along with Dr. Colleen Bosler.
We are so excited to be welcoming Dr. Adam Voss to the Audiology Center. He went to SLU High School, and then he went on to University of Missouri in Columbia, where he earned his undergraduate degree, and then Washington University School of Medicine, where he earned his doctorate in audiology. He's been practicing as a clinical audiologist for the last 7 years, and we look forward to bringing him on to the Audiology Center. Outside of audiology, he enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 daughters, and he loves golfing, playing music, or cycling. Dr. Voss is an expert in hearing aid technology, custom hearing protection, and oral rehabilitation.
And so now it's Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Gilbert Fahn, and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. 636-441-7470 in Florissant, St. Peters, and Creve Coeur, and the Audiology Center, STL.com.
This is a consumer alert to all U.S. taxpayers who owe the IRS back taxes or have unfiled tax returns. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you can now take advantage of active programs that provide relief to struggling taxpayers and may reduce or eliminate what you owe if you qualify. Even if you are facing liens, levies, audits, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, call the Easy Tax Relief Helpline now to check what savings you may qualify for at 800-544-1527. You may qualify to reduce up to 99% of what you owe or for other special programs. Once qualified and enrolled, you can rest assured that your assets are protected and all collection efforts will be stopped. Billions of dollars in savings are available through these relief programs for struggling taxpayers, but you must call to see if you qualify. To see what savings you qualify for, call 800-544-1527. 800-544-1527. That's 800-544-1527.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Served by beautiful backstick. Klaus goes for a header. Clark reaches up and snatches it as Klaus maybe mistimed it slightly. A lot of jostling there. Clark went to ground after pulling it.
We are back here inside Ballpark Village at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. Glad you're with us as we continue here on Sports on a Sunday morning. And as always, we are pleased to be joined by the sporting director for St. Louis City SC. He is Lutz Pfannenstiel, and fresh off a draw last night in Houston. Lutz, thanks for some time this morning as always.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Doing very well. I am curious, just talking a little bit as City comes off the draw. Just first, your thoughts on last night's match, and you know, I know sometimes a draw isn't necessarily a good result. Sometimes you feel like it's a deserved result. What do you feel like last night after that one?
Yeah, I think getting a draw on the road is always I would call it a better draw. Houston to play away is always a difficult place to play. But it was one of these games, again, I think we did enough to win the game. We had lots of chances out of open play. Sometimes the last pass let us down or the finish let us down. So overall, I think it was a fair result against a team which is in a very similar situation than we are. We are not too far really from the higher end of the table, but you still need to be careful, to get your points, especially to win your home games, to stay in touch with the front three.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is, we're talking about the difference between not getting points at all and certainly picking up points. A couple of important things that I know Bradley Carnell touched on last night after the match, getting a couple of players back on the pitch, specifically Joachim Nilsson, and also to get Sam Adeniran back in there and contributing to this match.
Yeah, Joachim, the broken rib was out now for a while. Bringing back on when he got a little bit chippy towards the end was very important because he's a very experienced player. He knows exactly how to marshal the back line. So he gave us that stability we needed. And yeah, it was good to see Sam back on the field with his power, with his speed. Had a few really good actions in the second half. And yeah, we still have 2-3 players out now with injuries, which are very shortly will return. And then once we're back to full strength, I think that's very important as well, that they can create more, we can control the games probably a little bit more, especially at home. And overall, I think it all comes down really to next week. I think we had 2 away games now, 2 difficult ones against Kansas as well as Houston. We stayed unbeaten. We also had 3 clinches in the last 4 games, which is something also to look at, that the defensive stability plays a big role. But then it really will come down next week to the game against Chicago. That's a game we want to win. That's a game which gives us a good opportunity to really jump up a few places. And yeah, it's at home. That's the ones we want to win.
You've got 2 consecutive home games coming up for City. You've got Chicago, of course, out of the Eastern Conference, and then you've got a big Western Conference battle in LAFC coming up as well. And as you mentioned, kind of stay afloat, stay right there on the road. But it is important to then ultimately pick up those points when you can in City Park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always good to have 2 home games, with crowds behind us. Unbelievable support, to be honest, every week when we're playing there. So I think that gives us that extra edge. I think it gives us the 12th man on the field who really helps us to pick up points. As you said, Chicago, a team which struggles at the moment a bit, but they definitely spend a lot of money, bought another striker for far north of $10 million this year. And LAFC, we know that even though they not having a great start so far, that's one of the powerhouses here in the MLS, definitely one of the top teams always in the Western Conference. And it's 2 really, really good games to watch. I think it's 2 games where we want to pick up as many points as possible. And it's a great challenge, to climb the table up a little bit, to stay higher in the playoff ranks. That's what we're trying to do in the next 7 to 10 days.
And I obviously there's a balance to, yes, we want to continue. We want to kind of, as Bradley said last night, get over that hump, right, and start picking up points. However, we're still very, very early in the MLS season. There's a lot of games to be played.
Oh, yeah, plenty of games. It's only 10 games in. We're not even a third day yet.
Right.
There will be a lot of games to be played in June, July. I think that's the month which really counts. There will be another transfer period coming up, another Leagues Cup breaks coming up, where there will be lots of reshuffling. And I think that's the important period when you really can make the massive jumps. Now it's more about stay close to everybody, not let the gaps to get bigger, and then really focus on that really decisive moment when you're having lots of midweek games. And, I always take the best example as Seattle or last year, Kansas, when you have a not such a good start and then people getting worried, and suddenly you have that 4, 5, 6 games where you're getting on a row and you just simply roll the wheel from behind and you're coming up and jumping. That's something we need to learn as well, because last year it was all different. We won everything in the start and then it got a little bit more difficult in the second half. So I think it was a great experience to also figure out when it's really important to pick up the most important points of the year.
Lutz Van Steele, the sporting director of St. Louis City SC, with us, and I think you raise a really good point. It was such a good start, such a quick start out of the gates last year that allowed City to then obviously win and stay atop the Western Conference. But there is something I think we have to step back and remember, right, that this is just the second season for this franchise, and there is a lot of that learning still to come. And part of that is, as you say, kind of learning the dynamics of how a season takes shape. And you can look, I guess, to a Sporting KC, what they did last year, some of those other teams. There is a lot still to be learned. This franchise is still fairly young, and I think sometimes maybe we forget that because of the great success that you had in your expansion year.
Yeah, I think, we created a monster, and in a positive way. And I mean, of course, expectations are really, really high. And we understand that if you're winning after 34 games last season, the Western Conference, then it's very normal that fans believe you should win everything. But it's also not a children's birthday party where you just walk in and pick the balloons and the points. So it's, the other teams are not sleeping. The other teams are also doing well. And if you're looking at the table, how tight this Western Conference is this year, it looks like really everybody can beat everybody. Salt Lake walking a little bit away with it right now. We've played them already twice, so we have them out of our side, which is good. And I think everything is possible. Just have to keep on working hard, believe in ourselves. As you said, lots of games have to be played, and I believe we are in a good position. But, of course, the home games are coming up, and that's when you need to pick up points.
And there certainly is nothing wrong with having the MLS goalkeeper of the year back there, Roman Berkey, 4 clean sheets this year. He had a season-high 9 saves last night. So, while you're getting the draws, it is a strong defensive effort, and your goalkeeper has been fantastic for you.
Yeah, I think we defended very well yesterday as a unit, not just the defenders of Roman, but also the midfield and the attackers. They worked hard behind the ball. But yeah, lots of saves yesterday for Roman. He said it after the game himself. There was nothing really that difficult there, and it was more like standard saves. But he's the guy who made this one big save, who saves to the point. And that was yesterday again in the 82nd minute. I thought there was a plastic man in goal. The way he bent himself there and just tipped it over the crossbar was an unbelievable save. It was again a save which rescued our point, and that's why he's our captain. That's why he's the best goalkeeper in the league. And we are very lucky and fortunate to have Roman Berkey as our goalkeeper.
A plastic man in goal. Well, I appreciate it. Lutz, always appreciate you taking the time and the opportunity to kind of chat about where St. Louis City is. We look forward to the next 2 weeks at home at City Park. You've got Chicago on the 11th. You've got LAFC coming in after that. Always a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a nice Sunday.
Lutz Van Steele with us here on Sports on a Sunday morning here from Ballpark Village. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. On the other side of the break, we'll get back into some Cardinals baseball. We'll talk to the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, as the Cardinals get set to wrap up a series with the White Sox here this afternoon. Plenty more to come from our Steeple Sports Studio. It's the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. We're coming back on KMOX.
When our truck stops in front of your home, you'll know it's there.
Because you'll feel magic in the air.
Things are about to get a whole lot better.
In fact, they're about to be wonderful.
We brought you a whole truckload of magic
and fresh air freedom.
All you have to do is point.
You'll see the magic with your eyes.
When that junk disappears.
And you'll feel the fresh air freedom
throughout your body.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
When that dull junk is gone, all your cool stuff will sparkle.
You'll feel the magic of it on your face.
And it will make you smile.
You'll see big clean rooms.
And it will make you dance.
You'll call your friends.
Because you'll want them to see it and feel it too.
You're going to want to share that fresh air freedom with everyone.
Because you are a delightful person.
When you're ready to unleash the delight,
call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
KMOX Day returns to Busch Stadium Wednesday, May 8th. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive KMOX Cardinals bobblehead featuring Ricky Horton and the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney. With a special VIP ticket, get your bobblehead and access to an exclusive pregame meet and greet with John and Ricky. KMOX Day at the Ballpark, Wednesday, May 8th. Limited tickets available. Get yours today. Cardinals.com/theme. For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Whatever electrical needs you have, repair, service, replacement, call on Reinhold Electric. A live person will answer the phone call and they'll set you up with an electrician. If you need an estimate, absolutely free from Reinhold Electric, you will actually talk to a live estimator. No job is too big or too small for Reinhold Electric. Reinhold Electric, for all your electrical needs in residential, commercial, and industrial, call 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis or an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. Their RNs will listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
Out on the field, Jerry Kelly was never one to guarantee a win, but the company he retired to build guarantees a home run every time you call.
Thank you for choosing Jerry Kelly.
Open 8 to 8, 8 full days a week. Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning also guarantees next day service. Need new equipment installed? Little maintenance to get your system purring again? We'll be there within a day of your call. No ifs, ands, excuses, or getting scredoodled. Guaranteed.
JerryKelly.com. I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. Sports on a Sunday morning. Our Stifel Sports Studio is here at Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Glad you are along with us here as we get through hour number 2. And as we do that, 11:30, it always means it's time to talk to the Cards President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I am doing all right. A long day at Busch Stadium yesterday, and certainly not ending the way that anybody would have liked. What are those 3-hour rain delays like for John Mozeliak?
Yeah, yesterday was obviously very awkward. I think I've kind of replayed that whole scenario. I think our grounds crew definitely wanted to get that field tarped. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, so they just, added a lot of extra work to get the field ready. But the storms just kept building in and out and coming and going, and we really just never had that window to get that in. So I know it's painful for our fans. It's painful for all the people that have to just stick around and wait and then to have the outcome. That's certainly a bummer, but my responsibility during those delays is just to make sure communication is flowing between both team managers, our head groundskeeper, our stadium ops staff, and obviously TV and radio, keep them aware of when we might play. So yesterday was a long day, tough ending, but yeah, in baseball, you got to keep moving forward.
How much is Major League Baseball concern? How much do they have to do with a situation like that when it's already in game? Is there really anything that they have, any call that they make?
So it's the umpire's call at that point.
Right.
So, they really control the game. Now, most crew chiefs will be in some communication with Major League Baseball, making sure that they understand what the radar or forecasts look like. Of course, we're sharing our local information with them as well to ultimately, hopefully get ourselves back on the field as soon as possible.
John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, with us here on this Sunday. Good news to start this Sunday as Dylan Carlson returns to the Bigs, and he'll be on the lineup today for the Cardinals.
Yeah, obviously, when you think back to the end of camp, that was obviously a tough injury for our organization to suffer. Dylan was having a great spring training. He was really swinging the bat well. He was going to give us an option in center field to start the season. And, ultimately getting him back is positive news. And hopefully when you look at how our team's been playing and getting our offense going, he can be part of that.
And it's not just, I said this a little earlier, and when I talked to Ollie Marmol this morning, he talked about the versatility. It also obviously provides flexibility on the lineup to have a switch hitter in there. But the other thing it does is it can really kind of breed competition and maybe spark some other guys, right? Like having a full complement of players is always going to kind of push things in a more positive direction.
Well, it should. There's no doubt, this competition in theory has been going on for a couple weeks now because most people understood that DC was coming back. And so once he comes back, playing time is going to change for a group of players that are competing for at-bats. So, my hope is that does create some new energy downstairs and we can use it in a positive way.
Matt Carpenter is out on a rehab assignment currently. I know he had played just a couple of games in Springfield. What's the update on Carp?
first game was very Carp-ish, walk, double. And then last night, I think he was 0 for 4, but with a hit bag pitch. But, right now it's just allowing him to get his timing, and we'll see how this week unfolds for him and then decide when we think we have to make a decision there.
And you've still got some pitchers that are out, specifically maybe long-term for a guy like Drew Rom. What's the update on some of the arms?
Yeah, Rom's going to, likely miss this season, given the surgery he's going to have. But we are very encouraged, probably in this order. I think Matz will likely be back first. I think Middleton is getting close, so he'd probably be second. And then O'Brien is not too far behind Middleton. So I think as we, turn the calendar to middle to late May, we should get some reinforcements back there as well.
Mo, how encouraging is it, or how, maybe it's gratifying, maybe it isn't, knowing, what kind of work you put into kind of build this pitching staff, to see the success that not only the starters are having, but that's trickling down, and you've got a great bullpen right now. I know that the results aren't there yet, but that part of it has to be gratifying to you and to the staff.
It's obviously that was the goal of the offseason, and we certainly accomplished that. But we also understand that this is a business about winning and losing. So having small wins in certain areas that make you feel good, that's one thing. But the reality is, and we understand our fan base, we understand the expectations of what our city and our region expects of this team, and it comes down to winning. And I do think, when you look at the long haul of a 162 game season, if you're not pitching, it's going to be a rough year. But when you are, you always have chances. And so if we can start to get our offense clicking, I think everybody can imagine you're going to start seeing more wins, and it's going to bring a lot more excitement to this ballpark and to this ball team. And so that's ultimately what we hope we see.
You make a really good point to, I think, those that want to say, oh, it's nothing different than last year. It is very different than last year, and you put it into words. When you have pitching, you have a chance, and that pitching wasn't there last year, certainly wasn't performing to that level last year, and it feels like to me that we're just a couple swings away perhaps from getting on that roll. Do you feel like that is around the corner, or at least there in the distance?
I do. I'm an internal optimist, but I also believe that this team will put up more offense than what you're seeing. I really do have a lot of belief that Nolan Gorman, Brendan Donovan, they're going to be more consistent at the plate. You look at Lars Nootbaar. These are guys that, as they were coming up, they hit, and they had flashes of hitting when they were in the big leagues. So I just think they're going to do it. Obviously, Nolan Arenado's been coming around, which is great to see. I still, would never bet against Paul Goldschmidt. And, when you look at just the one guy that's giving us consistent at-bats, that's Contreras. And so, you tie it all together. Now you get Dylan Carlson back. Maybe we can start getting some offensive production from center field, and hopefully that bleeds into other areas, and we start seeing more encouragement from an offensive standpoint.
John Mozeliak, always appreciate you taking some time here for us on this show, and certainly when we cross paths. Look forward to all of those things coming together. Look forward to seeing Carlson back in center field. And again, appreciate your time here on this Sunday morning.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
John Mozeliak with us here, the president of baseball operations for the St. Louis Cardinals, ahead of the Cardinals and White Sox final game of this 3-game series. We've got another segment to come. We're going to get into the UFC and specifically a St. Louis, and Joaquin Buckley will join us here coming up on the other side of the break. We're going to chat about him making a really cool push to fight here at home, and he's going to get that opportunity, and we're going to talk to him coming up next as Sports on a Sunday Morning continues here on KMOX.
I get asked a lot, what's the difference between the efficiency ratings and the numbers that customers hear while they're getting prices? Pretty much the difference is the numbers. As far As far as actual savings, there is a very easy common sense way to explain the differences in the energy ratings and the types of energy rating on the furnaces, what you can get and what you can't get, and what's best suited for you, what you actually do need or what you absolutely do not need. You'll be surprised and very happy that you called me. So call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. This is the only number that you need to call. 314-293-2600 or on the website Bart Inman. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And if you have had somebody build a fence or a deck or something for you that was kind of on the cheap, you know what I mean when I say that Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a true value, because they're not going to be your cheapest bid, but they're going to be the best quality project that's going to last for years to come. So you don't have to chase somebody down the next season and say, hey, this is splintering and warping. No, you are going to have an amazing patio, pergola, deck, fence, gate. Whatever they install for you, it will be top notch. If you have ideas, please bring it to them, or they do free project design, free in-home estimates, or feel free to stop by Chesterfield Fence and Deck's extensive showroom to really get an idea of all the things that they can do for you. You can also do financing with them, and if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Find them online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Broadcasting from the underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And it's Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning with you here for a little bit while longer. Just one more segment here on Sports on a Sunday morning. We're powered by Gray Bar. This is the Stifel Sports Studio here at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. And as we get ready to wrap things up here on hour number 2. A cool guest that we get to welcome on for the second time since I have done this program, second time that I get a chance to speak with Joaquin Buckley, the number 11 ranked welterweight. It's a really cool time because we are just a week away of you coming back to fighting in your hometown. Welcome back to KMOX, Joaquin Buckley.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? Thanks for having me back. We're moving up in the world. We're number 11 in the world, you know?
It is fantastic and exciting that you are coming home to co-headline this event here in St. Louis at Enterprise Center. But I want to let you kind of share the story of how this came about and kind of a unique way that you went about getting the attention of Dana White and making this happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it all started off with me winning against Vicente Luque, who was ranked number 11 in the world at the time. I took a last-minute fight against him because he had a fallout against Sean Brady, who was his original opponent. But since Sean Brady couldn't appear to the fight, I took on the challenge, and I ended up winning via knockout in the second round. So, you know, with me, I knew that the UFC would be coming to St. Louis in May, and I really wanted to be on the card. Even though it was a quick turnaround, I felt fresh, I felt ready. So I said, look, there's no way to actually call Dana White. There's no real way to actually meet him in person, but I knew that he would have to show up for the biggest event of the year, which was UFC 300. So I said, why not just pop up on the president, man, and ask for a big favor to put the St. Louis kid on the St. Louis card, and you know he did it. So you know I'm glad I actually went out there and took the opportunity to ask for what I wanted.
Listen, both of those things I think point out the fact one of the things about Joaquin Buckley is you're not afraid to seize those opportunities, whether it's taking that fight with Vicente Luque there on March 30th, whether it's jumping up in the press conference. But in all honesty, though, there's something to that. That's kind of got to be your mindset, right? Take those opportunities when they come about.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, where we from, STL, you can't spell hustle without STL. So this is something that I've been doing for a long time. And I've been the type of person to always fight for what I want and fight for what I need. And I feel like for me, it's just like it's kind of simple because what I do is already kind of very, let's see the word I'm saying, chaotic, right?
Yep.
So I'm not afraid to actually ask for the things that I want because that's not the difficult part, right? The difficult part is really showing up and going out there in the cage and doing it. So for me to ask for these opportunities is pretty easy, but a lot of people don't do it because they feel like they can't live up to those expectations, which is the opposite for me. I know I can. And, you know, I worked like this since the very beginning, since I was 18 years old. So it's been a long time coming out with me being 30 years old. But, you know, I think everything is just coming into fruition and everything is happening and on a divine time. So I'm just, you know, happy to, you know, to show everybody, you know, what I can do and what I'm capable of. Yeah.
We are talking with the St. Louisan Joaquin Buckley, the 11th ranked welterweight. He is getting set for a May 11 fight at Enterprise Center. You're going to face off against Nursultan Royzaboyev. He's got a little bit of a height advantage. He's got a little bit of a weight advantage. What's your training regimen been like getting ready for this fight on a quick turnaround?
You know, I'm fighting a Titan from Uzbekistan, so I felt like I had to find some more Titans to train with. So I got a guy named Haitham. He is, I think, like ranked very highly in jiu-jitsu. And he's known for the armbar heard around the world against Roberto Cyborg, which is a high-level world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner who he beat. And I brought him in for my training camp because he's 6'5" as well, and he walks around 220 pounds. So he's definitely a big, intimidating guy. So I said, why not bring in this world-class guy to fight this world-class fighter that I'm going to get in the cage with? So preparation has been real good, you know, leading up into this fight.
Are there differences fighting somebody with that kind of height differences? Is there anything about that you can use to your advantage in the ring?
Yeah, it is. To my advantage, because I'm the shorter opponent, he has to, come down to meet me. So what I mean is that with a taller opponent, they have to punch down, right? They can't punch straight or punch forward, which kind of weakens their punches a lot. So, of course, we all know who Mike Tyson is, right? So I can bring a Mike Tyson-esque type of fight to Nursultan because the movement that I have, the footwork, and the tenacity with my punching power, I can aim to the body a lot easier, and I can reach his chin once I touch his body and make him feel my power. So I feel like this fight is going to be reminiscent of a Mike Tyson in MMA. So I think people definitely want to watch this fight for sure. Yeah.
As you get the opportunity to fight in your hometown at Enterprise Center, is there added pressure for you, or is just going to be, I've trained well, I am ready, I'm prepared, and it's going to be another fight night?
It's just going to be another fight night. But one thing is about pressure. There is a lot of pressure on me with my family, my friends, my close ones watching me and going to be there live. But one quote by Lee Kemp, pressure is only privilege to the champions. So I welcome that pressure. I enjoy that pressure. And I feel like if I don't have that pressure on me, that's when I'm really nervous, right? So, I need that pressure in order to make sure that I go out there and perform at my highest potential. So, yeah.
I like that, man. Pressure makes you perform at your highest. That again, that goes back to that mindset. And I like that a lot. And is that something that you have kind of developed, that you have kind of worked into what you do?
Yes, sir. I mean, for a long time, I never really had, let's say, guidance when it comes to the fight game as much. I really had to learn it myself, and I really had to coach myself and teach myself, what it is to be a martial artist. And I feel like, with me now having, the coaches around me, I still don't just rely on just one person's output. I look at myself and I think for myself on what I believe my fight game should be and how I should look towards or work towards a fight. So so what I'm really trying to say is a lot of people depend on somebody else to tell them what to do. I'm not that type of individual. I know that for me, that I'm going to push myself harder than anybody else is going to push me because I know exactly what I'm capable of doing and I know my limit. And the thing is, I like to always go past my limits and I always try to push myself past the breaking point. And once you get comfortable being uncomfortable, there's not a lot of situations that can, put you in fear. So, I've been having this mentality for a while. It took a minute to develop, but, I think I'm built for it now.
Joaquin Buckley, the St. Louisan, with us here. Tell folks what they can expect from this May 11th fight, not just with your bout we know about, but heavyweight title fight there, or heavyweight headline fight, I should say, in Derek Lewis and Rodrigo Nascimento, the Brazilian. What can folks expect?
They should expect an awesome war, but even better yet, expect a new superstar in the rankings, and expect that the UFC will have not the UFC, but the STL will have a new UFC champion soon coming back home. So that's what they should expect, a new superstar on his way. Yeah.
How much for a UFC fighter from St. Louis, growing up here, training here, how much does this mean to you? But also, do you think more fights are coming to the STL?
See, that's the thing. The last time that the UFC came down here was back in like 2017. So it's been a minute since the UFC came back to STL. So I feel like for this fight in this event, I'm not the only one. As well, we have Charles Johnson and we have Sean Woodson, who all are native to St. Louis. And I feel like with us, if we go out there and show out like I know we can, the UFC has no other choice but to make St. Louis a regular spot where they come down and they give out great events. And I feel like for me, I feel like the folks are really excited to come out and show out as in the fans, right? Because this sport is more and more getting more and more popular every single day. And I really feel like, with that being said, all those combinations with us showing out and the fans showing out, the UFC has no other choice but to come back and give us more events.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking some time to chat about it. I look forward to the event. I'm happy for you to get back here to the STL. And next time we do this, we'll be even hopefully talking to even higher than an 11th ranked fighter there. A new challenge, a new champion, as you said, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Joe. Thank you.
Yes. Best of luck to you on May 11th. There you go. That's Joaquin Buckley, the St. Louis, and he's going to be fighting at Enterprise Center, co-headlining that event at Enterprise Center, the heavyweight event that is headlining Derek Lewis and Rodrigo Nascimento, the Brazilian. It's going to be quite the night, May 11th, on at Enterprise Center. So we appreciate Joaquin Buckley taking the opportunity, chatting with us. He's got a great mentality, man. I would not put anything past him. For sure. We've had a great show for you here this morning. Hope you have enjoyed all that we have brought you with the Cardinals manager and president of baseball operations, Oliver Marmol, and John Mozeliak, respectively. Great to chat with Scott Jagow, talk about the Kentucky Derby and all that goes into that. And he's had a good run himself with Kentucky Derby picks. Lutz Vanenstiel, of course, joined us from St. Louis City SC. Also to chat about what they are doing. I will be back after the news. We'll talk all Cardinals baseball coming up after the noon news, and our pregame show gets underway at 12:20 today. And, of course, we'll have everything you need to get ready for the Cards and the White Sox, the final game of this 3-game series as the Cards try to win another series. Dylan Carlson is back. Matthew Liberatore makes the start. Back after the news on KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. Our attorneys will hold truck drivers and owners accountable. We stand up to big trucking companies to get you the compensation you deserve. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
The truth is, planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful, and things like record high inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, and the possibility of Social Security disappearing all feel like roadblocks to reaching that retirement finish line. All of these issues can have a major impact on your life savings. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Join the All Financial Group at Bishop's Post in Chesterfield on May 7th and May 9th. And they're going to do a presentation providing you with the tools, insight, and proven strategies that can help you make informed decisions